Hey guys, I'm so excited to be out here at Woodley Lakes. This is where I started my swing evolution with my buddies Truman and Joel, and this is where Anthony Kim learned how to play. So it'll be a lot of fun to get out here. I haven't played with these guys this whole year. So I've been doing this Trevino thing where I've been laying it off really kind of flat, but I've lost like 30 yards of distance. So I'm going to be doing more of a Sergio where I pick it up higher for more leverage and then drop it. And maybe that'll work, I don't know. All right, Team MSC, how's everybody doing today? So I am really excited to talk about some golf swings. Now, if you've been following along the last month and a half or so, when I went out to Borrego Springs with my buddy AJ, I was fooling around with this Trevino style swing. I had made a swing analysis of Lee Trevino, and he really gets into an amazing position where he's really shallow coming into the ball, and he swings really flat around his body, and his right shoulder is lower in relation to his left shoulder than practically anyone that I've seen, and that is basically indicating that he's cleared more than anybody I've seen. When you look at the down the line view, you know, his virtually his whole back is visible, and his hips. It's amazing. So I was fooling around with it, and I've always had a problem of early extension, and I've never really cleared my hips as well as I would like to. But I wanted to take a look at a few swings. So let's take a look at these first three golf swings we have here. These are from 3 separate days where I'm doing this Lee Trevino style shallow swing. Here we go. Click. So these were 3 pretty good shots. One of the things I like about this Trevino swing that I've been telling people is I feel like I'm hitting the ball very straight with it. There's always a trade-off though. I've probably given up 20 or 30 yards of distance, which is, you know, kind of, it's hard for me to even handle. So I'm going to go back to this first swing. This is the first incarnation of my Lee Trevino swing. So I'm basically, you'll see here in this incarnation, I have my feet open to the line like Trevino, but I did discover that I had a tendency to pull the ball along the line of my feet. So this only lasted during this day. But we'll see, I do that little step into my right heel, and I'm taking the club around my shoulders, and see that right elbow's packed in real tight by my side. So right here, basically, I'm hardly leaving the shaft plane because I'm not letting my right elbow, get detached from my body. But right here, we can see the most of my hips that we've seen in my entire swing evolution. You know, that's pretty remarkable to me. So here my hips are square, and you can see that we just really see them rotating. So I'm swinging more with my body than I ever had up to this point in my swing evolution. Got the club back on the shaft plane nicely, and then we're going to see, you know, a nice impact, good ball. Like, you know, I hit this one pretty hard, you know, for this style of swing, like, you know, 265, 270-ish. That's about the max of this swing that I can really come up with. You know, so this is a swing at a golf tournament I went down to with my cousin, and here my feet are more square to the line. But again, what we're going to see is that right elbow staying very connected on the backswing. And I think by keeping it, you know, really shallow and staying super connected, you know, even though this angle's a little bit, you know, more to the right of me, we can still see my hips clearing very nicely. So it's a nice solid body swing. My feet aren't going crazy. I hit that right down the fairway, like, 260-ish or whatever. Nothing to brag about. But yeah. So, and now here's when I was up at Deepdale with Chris Cheddar and Daryl Kessner. And, I don't have my golf shoes on, but my buddy handed me his PXG driver, so I figured I'd give it a shot on this tee box. And I didn't want to look embarrassed in front of these pros, so I wanted to hit a straight ball more than anything. But it's a little 3/4 swing around my body. Come right back into the ball. And I hit a nice little straight ball right out in the middle of the fairway. So that's what the Lee Trevino swing was for me, was helping me to learn to swing with my body. And I think that, we can see here that, I'm really getting around and not throwing my arms and shoulders too soon, which is a good step in the right direction. But no matter how you slice it, I don't want to hit a little BB out there. I'd like to be able to hit it a little bit longer without completely losing my mind on being able to hit it straight. I mean, that's what the pros do, and that's always my inspiration, is trying to hit the ball like a pro. So we move into this next series of swings. I decided on the driving range that I was going to try and swing a little bit more like, well, Sergio Garcia. And I know that's kind of ridiculous. Nobody swings like Sergio Garcia. But what I wanted to do was lift the club up higher in front of me and then drop the atomic elbow. And you guys have all heard me talk about the atomic elbow. So let's watch a few of these swings. So this day, I hit some of the longest drives I've ever hit on this golf course. Believe it or not, I mean, I'm 47 years old, and I was hitting the ball as long as I've ever hit it before in my life. I don't know how to tell you this. It's like so amazing to me. But one little move made all the difference. So here I am. I'm standing up tall to this ball. And I actually catch this one a little bit thin, but it still gets out there very nicely. Here you can see I'm really wide, okay? So I'm not as narrow as I was before. And the key for me is this right elbow. That elbow is released from the body. Normally at this point you'd see it packed in right by my side. But I really thought I was reaching high like Jack Nicklaus or something like that, but you can see that I'm still on that shoulder plane, basically, like my idol, Mr. Hogan. But this is the key point right here. That elbow, I got, maybe a good 6 or 8 inches away from my body, and I'm going to drop that atomic elbow right in the slot. And right there, it's back connected. My hips are ready to clear, and that is going to whip this club right through the impact zone. My hips are clearing. I'm staying down, and boom. Like I said, I hit that one a little thin, but it still got out there. And that was the swing that, gave me a little confidence. I mean, I was just fooling around. I'd never done this before. But the Sergio combined with the Trevino turned out to be pretty darn cool. So right here you can see my right elbow. Man, that's a lot of width for me. That's about as far away as I can get without letting my scapula get detached from my spine. I could reach a little farther maybe, but that's about as much as I can control right here. Now, one of the important things that helped me to clear my hips is the notion that Lee Trevino said, my first move down is I break my knees at the target. And I've talked a lot about, like in the black belt scoring system, I talk about the complex. And if you can't get your hips in front of your shoulders, you're never going to be able to get lateral side bend, which is going to, help you to be able to clear your hips. All the good things that happen they have to happen with your right hip leading your right shoulder if you're a right-handed golfer. So at any rate, here we can see that I'm going about as wide as anybody's ever seen me on this channel. I've got my right arm, my right elbow as far away from me as I can, and it's still going back on a fairly flattish sort of plane. I think that gets a little confusing for people sometimes. But in this swing here, we're going to see me really break my knees at the target. And the first move is it looks like my knees open, and then I drive those knees at the target. And to me, this look is very similar to a Tom Lehman or a David Duval. I started watching David Duval, guys. Man, he is one of the greatest swingers of the club I've ever seen. And he's very Hogan-esque. And, I put some video of David Duval up in my Swing the Golden Loop. If you guys haven't seen the Golden Loop, that's a pretty cool video. I don't think it got seen as much as it should have, but I think it's pretty cool. But here I'm reaching up high, and then right here I'm going to drive that elbow down to my side. And I'm in a great position here to hit down and through the ball. I'm not trying to hit down on it, but catch it kind of level. And yeah, look at those knees. That is a crazy looking swing for me. But, I'm fooling around. I'm experimenting. That's what my evolution's all about. And it was a lot of fun. I hit it down there, down in the fairway, hit a 3-wood up to the green on this par 5, so I was sitting it just fine. Now here's a nice, pretty smooth swing here. Pounded it out there about 300, no problem. We see me working around my right leg as a post like I always do. Letting my elbow get slightly away from my body. I'm set here into my right heel. And now I go down to get it. Now I've got that right elbow really working. Let me tell you something about this right elbow move here that's important to talk about. I used to think there's a term right elbow drive that's very popular in YouTube videos. And people talk about driving the right elbow forward in front of the right hip. I think that everybody has different amounts of flexibility and different amounts of rotation in their shoulders. So that didn't really work for me, I don't believe, as well as this, which is driving my right elbow down like in a straight line at my hip rather than trying to put it in front of my hip. If it goes in front of my hip, then my right shoulder might get in front of my hip. If my right shoulder gets in front of my hip, then I'm not going to be able to be leading with my lower body, and I'm not going to have any lateral side bend or forward shaft lean or all those good things that come from it. It looks to me in the overhead angle of Mr. Hogan that his elbow's tied in alongside his hip. And the big thing that I think about with Sergio Garcia is he says he feels like he's pulling down on a heavy chain. And so that gave me the idea of not driving my right elbow in front of my hip, but straight down next to my hip, which just the action of driving your right elbow, if you pick your right elbow up to your side and press it down towards your hip, it's automatically going to give you lateral side bend. And that's what I think was really helping me, because I picked up 40 yards over my Trevino style swing by letting my elbow come up and then pounding it, dropping it right down by my side. Pretty remarkable. So now let's look at this last swing. This next swing is one that, again, it was probably 310 or something, and I don't think it got a lot of roll. It was just in the air forever. So now this is an interesting move that I noticed here that I did here. So I'm standing up tall. I actually press the handle down a little bit. Like I'm really going to try and loop this one. So I press down and kind of sit into my quads a little bit. And there you see me trying to work the club in a looping fashion. So that right there, the club is outside of my hands. Now I'm going to try and reach for as much leverage as I can. And then here, I'm going to let my knees break towards the target. And then I'm going to pull down on the chain like Sergio and drop that elbow next to my hip, not in front of my hip. Here, my hips have already cleared. This is something that's important to me that my teacher, Greg McHatton, stresses. He says, latest is greatest. We want to hit the ball late. I've always talked about the delayed hit rather than lag in the golf swing. This is a delayed hit. And by holding my right elbow back, it's helped me to not release the club too early. Normally, my elbow would be off my body right here and my arms would be starting to straighten. But here, I'm able to save that last burst for that millisecond right when I hit the ball. And I mean, that ball just took off out there. Power fade, just soaring through the sky. And one of the other things that you'll notice as well about this swing is the exit of the club. I'm certainly getting around better than I ever have before, as evidenced by this club is on the shaft plane, and see that club right there coming up around on that shoulder plane as it rises back up. And I have a very high finish here. So that was just, it was just a remarkable day. I hit some absolute bombs this day. I didn't even film them all. I was just having too much fun ripping it. Made a bag full of birdies. And, and that's what the game is all about, is I want people to have fun and play better. And these things continue, I'm learning. I'm not a PGA pro. And rather than sit here and tell you everything, I'm discovering it and I'm sharing it. And I hope that it helps you to have fun and experiment and really get out there and enjoy the game of golf. I like this way more. It's a mystery. And every day I go out and I learn a little bit more about the golf game. And I just love it so much. And I hope you do. And I thank you for watching my channel. And I'm telling you, I think the very best is yet to come. Like, the things that are coming down the pike are absolutely thrilling. So, folks, have a wonderful day. Hit them long and hit them straight. I really encourage you to go check out myswingevolution.com, and that's where I have my video, The Hogan Code, where I talk about my journey to learn to swing like Mr. Hogan and all the fruits and benefits that it brought to my life. So hit them long and hit them straight.